Hey everybody, Andrew here, and today, finally, I get to make this awesome video, and it is my Harry Potter marathon review, the Harry Potter complete series review. Okay, this is going to be an extremely long video, and I'll try and do it all without cutting it up or something, because I really want to be candid with my responses in this, with this and everything. So, I have all the movies right here. I have them all on DVD, by the way. So, and if I look a little tired, I'm kind of doing this a little late. It's been a very long day, and yeah, and it's raining, snowing, whatever the heck it is doing outside. So, I'm gonna do this as quickly as I can, but as likely in depth as I can. So let's get this started with my opening thoughts, basically. And I'll start off with the Sorcerer's Stone or Philosopher's Stone. This is the two-disc two-disc DVD for this movie. It opens up like this, and there's the back, and it opens and folds out like this. It's gonna be upside down when I show you, but it folds out like that, and it's a two-disc DVD set, which this was actually my parents, and they gave it to me. Thank you. But yeah, this is the box set that I have here. I only have the box set for the first two movies, but so yeah. So I started out this on a Thursday, so it was last Thursday. Yeah, last Thursday. I started out with this movie here. I watched one a day, and then I watched the last four in 2 days. Okay, so I watched the first 4 in 4 days, and the last 4 in 2 days. So, because I was just like, because the last 4 are personally my favorite. So let's really let's dive into this review here. First off, start that over there. First off, I've seen these movies all a bunch of times, and especially Sorcerer's Stone, because the first 3 movies are the movies that me and my parents had for a long time and everything, so I didn't have any of the other ones. And the only movie I actually saw in the theater was Goblet of Fire. So, and we'll get to that one later. But so going back and watching these and looking at them in depth, that's really what I was trying to do. Look at them in depth, judge them as movies themselves and everything. So I was really trying to just go in and look at these movies for what they are, kind of put the nostalgia aside for a second while bringing that into this review and everything and talking about that. So one of the biggest things that I thought of and brought up, it's kind of center of this video here, one of the biggest things I thought of and was definitely taking notes on when I was watching the movies was how obviously the tone goes from a lighter movie to obviously a really kind of darker movie. And that was one of the big things that I saw. Also, how the characters, they're developed. They're developed characters. There are some scenes, and especially this one, of some character development, especially with the Dursleys. When you first meet the Dursleys, and you see Dudley running down the stairs, trampling on the stairs, and he's bouncing up and down the stairs. You're like, Potter, we're going to the zoo, and everything. That is one of my favorite scenes of that. 'Cause it's hilarious, and all the dust is going down on Harry because he's in the cupboard there, and everything. That's where he sleeps. That tells you what they think of him and everything. Then Dudley pushes him in, and then all the mail and everything, and that whole just everything, That also, when he's like, fine day, Sunday. In my opinion, best day of the week. Why is that, Dudley? Because there's no post on Sunday. Right you are, Harry. No post on Sunday. Ha! No blasted letters today. Not a one! And that whole scene of him with the letters and everything, that is great. And he drills shut the mailbox and everything. it's genius. And Chris Columbus, who did the first two movies, um, I think he did a fantastic job of starting out the series. Then as we move on, as obviously as they go on, I read the first three books in the series. I haven't read all of them, but I know they're all great. And the thing is with this, I'm going completely off topic and everything here, so just you can follow this. Go ahead. But something that all the movies do is the first three movies really take the book and they don't condense it a whole lot. The last four movies, and I read this online and everything, really condense the book, especially Order of the Phoenix, because that book is huge. That book is huge. So they really condense the books as the movies go on. Because the first two or three books and movies follow the story beats, pretty well and everything. And also, in comparison, watching these movies, in comparison to whether it be, now, whatever you think of these movies or the books is inconsequential, and it's all purely my opinion. So, I'm sorry if you like these, but obviously nobody likes Twilight. Even if you do, sorry about that. But, sorry, but there's Twilight, there's like The Maze Runner. I'm trying to think of all book to movie, except for Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings is perfect. Those movies are perfect. Outside of Lord of the Rings, I'm trying to think of book to movie that went well. Outside of Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings, I cannot think. I mean, Hunger Games is successful, and the first one was alright. That's the only one I saw. But I'm trying to think, other than like comic books, obviously, but that's different. Book to movie. I can't think of it. Off the top of my head, I can't think of anything else. But there's not a whole lot of book to movies that have gone super duper well. Critically, I'll say. Other than like Hunger Games was critically well received. Obviously, Lord of the Rings was, Harry Potter was. But then, like, there's, like, Maze Runner, Divergent, Insurgent, there's the movie The Fifth Wave, which I watched Chris Stuckman's review of, and he said it takes this weird, he's like, it started out, like, first half hour started out really, really good, and then it just goes on this, girl meets guy, and they have to, like, hook up, basically, in a sense, and I'm just like, nah, that's not these movies. So, there comes a point when the source material has to be really, really good. In Harry Potter's source material, he's really, really good. These movies are, for my generation at least, classic. Okay, my sweet mate, who lives literally right through that door, that one right there, that's that door. He said, because his birthday is usually when these movies came out and everything, he's like, yeah, for years we just go watch Harry Potter for my birthday. Kind of like how I'm doing with Star Wars for my next couple of birthdays here. And by the way, Star Wars did get moved, and I'll make a small video about that. I'm happy about that, in a sense. For a reason. There's a reason behind it. And that'll be another video I'll put up. But anyway, back to this topic. But the Harry Potter source material, the books, is really good. So it's not like they have to adapt or change things because the source material isn't that great. It's like Twilight, the source material is garbage. Sorry, but it is. The source material is garbage. I did read the first book. Not that great. And it's a cash grab at some points, and people panic. Critics panic. Why? Because it's not good. These are good. All of these on IMDb, I believe, have a 7.0 or higher. That's just off the top of my head. Comment below if I'm wrong. But I believe they all have a 7.0 or higher. The only one that has like an 8.0, I think, or 8.1 is this one. I'm not sure about Azkaban, but Azkaban is highly regarded as one of the best in the series. So I don't know. I have my computer here. I could probably check, but yeah. So that, I mean, that's that. So Sorcerer's Stone. Let's really get into these movies. Sorcerer's Stone starts out really well. It introduces us to our lead, Harry Potter, and his friends, Ron and Hermione, and Dumbledore. And I love how they start out with Hagrid, who Hagrid is this person who kind of, through exposition, but Harry doesn't know, so it's kind of exposition, but it kind of isn't. He, Harry asks Hagrid what happened to his parents. He explains what wizards and muggles are and all that stuff. So you're getting a lot of exposition. What in most movies would be called exposition, but our one character has no clue what this world even is. So that's that. So we get a lot of that. This character is learning kind of stuff. And the movies are very well put together. Daniel Radcliffe, who actually is a very good actor in his own right now and everything, not that he wasn't then, but he as as 10-year-old kids, the three leads are great. And I think it's also the direction. Chris Columbus did a fantastic job directing these first two movies. And while some people don't like Chamber of Secrets, I really like this movie and everything. And I really like this movie, and I like all of them, but it's what it is, and it's just one of those. I think I love this. I love this picture right here, especially because you got Harry with the sword, looking all like heroic and everything. You got Ron looking like, oh, and he's got his broken wand, and Hermione's just like, yeah, I'm awesome. And then you have Dobby at the bottom, and then this like greenish room in the back, Chamber of Secrets, and on the back it's them in the car and the train and everything. So and then this one opens up. I just want to show you how these work. This one opens up to this, and that. And Dumbledore is actually on this one with like an orb or some. And then over here it's got Malfoy when they're dueling and everything. And over here's Harry. Here's Harry. That's it. Yeah. I think one of the other things, it got better over time because these movies came out between 2001 and 2011. So these movies came out between that time, and the technology for the CGI and everything got so much better by the time we got to the last movie. So that, like, the cave troll in the first movie doesn't look that great in 2016 standards. And by the way, we're 5 years removed from this movie and 15 years removed from this movie. That's kind of also why I'm doing this. I kind of thought of that right before I did the video, and I was like, oh yeah, it was a good time to do it. And also, in respect to Alan Rickman, I had to watch all these movies because these movies are fantastic. And Alan Rickman, a great actor, and we lost a fantastic actor. It was a week or two ago. Yeah, it was. So, yeah, this series is really, really good, and it's a great young adult series. And what's interesting is my generation and everything, especially, and the kind of the some people like my sister who are like a few years older than I am. The books and everything were something that, yeah, you could read it as a younger kid. I remember I think I read the first book when I was like in 5th grade, 4th or 5th grade. I read the first book, and I understood it, but I also seen the movies by then too, and so I read the first couple books by then, and it was interesting as you get older, the books get more and more larger, and the language is a little more difficult to understand and everything. So the story grows as you grow, as the kids in the story grow. So it's a really interesting dynamic. I'll say, because people usually lump these two movies together. They tend to lump these two together because the same director, and there's not a whole lot of change between the two. I love these two movies. These are my mom's favorite. This one's my mom's favorite, and I think I'm not quite sure what my dad's favorite is, but people in my family tend to like the first three more than the other ones, because the first, and I'll go back to Azkaban in a second, this was the only one we ever saw in the theater, was Goblet of Fire. And especially with the whole Voldemort angle and the whole Triwizard Tournament, and that movie was the first one to really, really dive into the darker end, without the whole happiness kind of stuff that the first three movies had. Azkaban, on the other hand, did go back to that kind of darker feel, but it began the darker feel and everything. And I watched this movie. This movie is one of the best time travel movies there is too, because you have that whole element of it. And when you watch it again, knowing that that happens in the end, that they use the time turner, is it? Yeah, time turner that Hermione has. It's great, and you're like, wait a minute. Well, they went back. That's great. That is great. That is some just great stuff. Alfonso Cuarón, who did Gravity, directed this movie. So I mean, just some great stuff, especially in this one. The whole Sirius Black angle, and this is the only one that really doesn't dive into a whole lot of Voldemort, because he fights Voldemort in the first two movies in a way. He ends up fighting Voldemort in the fourth movie. He fights Voldemort in the fifth movie. Trying to think, Half-Blood Prince. What is he doing, Half-Blood Prince? They kind of fight Voldemort, the whole the Horcrux beginning and everything. Well, that's really finding out how Voldemort keeps coming back with the Horcruxes. That's when they introduce that. And then obviously he kind of fights Voldemort in the last two movies. So he fights Voldemort in like every single one except for the third one. It's like the only one, and it kind of goes off that pattern that they were starting. It's like, okay, he fights him in the first movie, he fights him in the second movie, he fights him, oh no, he doesn't fight him in the third movie, he fights him in the next movie, he fights him in this movie, and so on and so on. I find that really interesting. Azkaban is such an interesting movie, and especially the way Alfonso Cuarón uses your fade in and fade out. It's a circle fades that go like that. It's a circle fade that kind of goes like that. The music is another thing. John Williams, did he do the third movie? I'm trying to think. Yes, John Williams did do the third movie. The first three movies are John Williams. The fourth movie is Patrick Doyle. Yeah, Patrick Doyle, who did Thor. The music for Thor is really good, and I'm actually gonna do a. This week I'm gonna do a Blu-ray review, and I'm gonna have to talk about Thor because I'm gonna talk about Blu-rays and just my TV setup and everything in another video. So we'll talk about that in a bit. But and then so on and so on. The music actually is an interesting aspect. Some of my favorite music is actually in Order of the Phoenix. And Order of the Phoenix is actually my favorite in the whole series. Then it's probably the last one. I like the last four better than the first four, but I like all 8 of them as a whole. My least favorite is Goblet of Fire, just because the whole Triwizard Tournament kind of thing it kind of goes a little bit too far off track for me. I like the end of the movie a lot. I like the story, and actually watching it again really gave me some perspective and everything, and understanding, okay, this is this angle, and knowing that Barty Crouch Jr. or David Tennant, for those of you that know Doctor Who, the 10th Doctor, he uses the Apologies potion and everything, and there's that mention throughout the whole movie. Somebody's using Apologies potion. Potter, and Snape says something along the lines of that about the Apologies potion, and he's like, there's all that stuff, and like, oh wait, that's Barty Crouch Jr.'s disguised himself as Mad-Eye Mooney, who's doing that, and that's just great screenwriting, and how you give those little messages, and then eventually you're like, oh wait, on the second or third viewing you realize, oh wait, there's that thing. That's really good about that movie. I do like the special effects in Goblet of Fire are actually really good too. I will say that. The special effects are really good. The special effects really begin to get good as the series goes on. And not that they were bad to begin with, but they just a lot of the creatures and everything were practical in the first two movies and whatnot. And then things began a little bit more in the CG realm, but not like Star Wars prequel CG realm or green screen realm. Things were definitely green screen in the Harry Potter franchise, but there were a lot more practical things and whatnot, so it works and everything. Where am I? I think I'm up to Order of the Phoenix. Order of the Phoenix. Now here's why it's my favorite movie. I hate absolutely the worst character, and I mean by worst character, I mean the character I hate the most in the entire. I almost hate this character more than I hate Voldemort. Umbridge. That woman. Now, I do not know the lady's name that plays her, but my goodness, is she good in that movie? So good, so good in everything. I love when she's walking around and they're adding all the different Filch is adding all those different stipulations and things you can't do. Where she's walking around and like tucking people's shirts and tightening their ties and everything, and just the way all that goes on. And the music is brilliant in Order of the Phoenix. The one of my favorite pieces is the fireworks theme when the Weasley brothers, the Weasley twins, go and ignite all the fireworks in the Great Hall and everything when they're doing their tests and everything. It's just some great stuff in that movie. I absolutely love that movie. It's just, there's some great stuff in there, and then the way they use the Order of the Phoenix and everything is some great stuff. I don't know. I just really like that movie, and also it's interesting. And Luna Lovegood is also one of those characters. You're just like, where did this character come from? Like J.K. Rowling just like pulled a rabbit out of the hat and was like, wow, let me write this weird, quirky character, but she's great. She's absolutely perfect. And then how she can see the Nestrals, right? And everything. She can see them because she's seen death, and Harry can see them, but nobody else can see them and everything. And I love how Neville. One of my favorite lines, and I'm going back a second, but one of my favorite lines at the end of Goblet of Fire is when Mad-Eye Mooney, who's Barty Crouch Jr., is playing Mad-Eye Mooney, and he's telling Harry Potter that this is after the whole Cedric Diggory's death and everything. He's telling him about how he gave Neville the idea. He's like, Neville Longbottom, the witless wonder. Yeah, this is a great, like he gives him the idea for the gillyweed and everything. And there's just some great dynamics between a lot of the characters in these movies. And there's some great memorable lines and things. And I really, one of the things that I really do like about Goblet of Fire is the lines. And a lot of the lines work very well, and a lot of the character development works very well. The problem is, you leave that movie with people think Voldemort's not back, and we go into this movie, and you find that he is, and you're just like, and by the end of I would have loved this movie to end with Fudge, the Minister of Magic, seeing Voldemort saying, he's back. Cut to black, end the movie. Like, that would have been like everybody would have been like, wait, what? That would have been fantastic to end it that way. I'm glad they tied up some of the loose ends, finished some things off and whatnot. I'm glad they did that, leading us into Half-Blood Prince and everything. But it's like, well, that's interesting. But yeah, and then I'm gonna combine these last three movies because it's all Horcrux hunting, in a sense. Half-Blood Prince is an interesting movie. It's extremely interesting. And I can't almost grade each movie based on what the movie itself is, because it's a continuing story. It's like my grade for The Force Awakens, I'm pointing at my poster right now, but my grade for The Force Awakens may change after I see Episode 8, In 2 years. In 2 years. Well, in 2 years, I'll have seen the movie probably 3 times, but But my grade for a movie, really, like, I can't watch this movie and just grade it all by itself. I have to watch the whole set to really be like, okay, well, where does this... It's like I can't watch Order of the Phoenix and be like, where does that fit in and everything? And just be like, I can't do that. So, I saw some reviews online, and the only reviews I could find were of the last 3 movies, because the YouTube wasn't a huge thing before then. And like reviewing movies and stuff was more of a written thing, and articles and things like that. And I just wasn't going to go back and read all that stuff. So I was just like, okay, let's watch some of it. And some of the things people said about Half-Blood Prince is that it's like, Half-Blood Prince, Deathly Hallows Part 1, are that there's lead up. There are a lot of lead up and everything. Well, that's the whole series. The whole series is a lead up. Now, I do acknowledge that these 2 movies seem like beginning parts to the end, in comparison to full movie, really full movie, actually a very full movie. And what I mean by very full movie with this one especially is that there is a beginning, middle, and an end to this movie. Because there's conflict and stuff like that, and conflict is great in drama, and this is definitely drama. While it's fantasy, it is a lot of drama. And then this is a beginning, middle, end, completed. It's a complete story. Half-Blood Prince seems like, okay, well, we start out with Slughorn, right? Yeah. And we go with his character through the whole movie, and we see how him and Tom Riddle and Voldemort were like close and everything. We see that, and then eventually we see Dumbledore die and everything. And we go through the whole thing, and it's the Horcrux hunt and all that. We're finding out what the Horcruxes are and everything. Draco's test, basically, he was the chosen one to kill Dumbledore and everything. And eventually Snape does it, which Dumbledore does tell Snape that he has to do, which we don't know that at the time, unless you've read the books. But yeah, you don't know that going. You don't know anything about Snape. The whole time up with Snape, you're like, that guy is dirty. Until you watch this movie, and it takes it for a huge spin, and you're just like, he was in pain. He was in pain the whole time. It was great. And Alan Rickman, I got to talk about Alan Rickman. Alan Rickman plays that part as Severus Snape so well. So well. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous how good he plays it. And one of the things I read when I was looking up some just interesting facts about Harry Potter, J.K. Rowling told Alan Rickman key story points that before the books, all the books were even finished, in the first movie, some key story points that Snape, and some things about Snape that were going to happen in the upcoming books and obviously movies that we're going to talk about his backstory, which we don't get until the last movie. Alexander Desplat, that dude's score, Lily's theme, oh, so good, so good. I love this movie. This is a great movie. Okay, all these other movies are really, really good. This is a great movie. Like, I could probably put it in right now and watch it. It's so good. But back to Half-Blood Prince, and I'll get to part 1 in a second. I don't have a whole lot to say about this one, but all the key story points and everything that go up with Half-Blood Prince are really interesting. And the way the movie ends is, okay, well, now they're on a Horcrux hunt. They gotta find these things, figure out what they are. And then we get to this movie. And as Jeremy Johns said, they're camping. And the first time I watched this movie, I'm like, wow, they're not doing a whole lot in this movie. It's set up. It's all set up for this. Much like the whole series is, it's all set up towards this. This movie is a lot of setup. We do get things, it's more character. This is the characters This is the character movie. This is the setting up the characters and everything. This is setting up the scenario for what happens in this movie. And that's what makes this movie so good, is because you have a really good prologue before the actual event. This is all battle. This is a lot of it's battle. It's battle, and it's not Battle of the Five Armies battle where the whole movie's a battle, but this is battle. This is war. This is war. This is the war movie that you were almost kind of promised in the first movies and everything. It's like, this is all bubbling up to a war. Is there? And I think even in Order of the Phoenix, in Order of the Phoenix, Harry asks Sirius Black if he's like, do you really think it's all going to come down to war? And Sirius is like, it feels like it did before, and everything. And it's like, yeah, in 3 movies, in 2 movies really, the war begins in the first movie, the first half. This is really one movie, and I had to watch these both back to back. I watched Order of the Phoenix and Half-Blood Prince one day, and then this next day I watched Part 1 and Part 2, Deathly Hallows. Because you can't just watch one day and then watch the other. You have to watch them both together. Because Part 2 literally picks up right where Part 1 left off. Okay? It shows you the same scene, you know? Again. Because it's like, well, we have to show Voldemort getting the Elder Wand. And I love their explanation for the way the Elder Wand works. It's interesting, especially with, the way Harry explains it and everything. When Hermione asks, why wouldn't the wand work for him? He says, well, it was never his, because he thought it was Snape's. Well, he thought it was Snape's. It was Draco who disarmed Dumbledore, so it was Draco's. Then Harry disarmed Draco, so then the Elder Wand was Harry's. The Elder Wand wouldn't go against its master. That's really a neat explanation and everything. And I find a lot of this. And guys, I would love to keep going. The space on my phone does probably not allow me to go much further, but just letting you know. So I'm going to kind of end this video here basically saying I love this series. This is a fantastic series of movies, and I can't give it the highest. I can't give it any higher praise than I've already given it. It's brilliantly written, brilliantly put together, and it's just a fantastic series of movies. I'd like to do commentaries eventually of these, and I'll see if I can eventually put those up on the channel at some point. Put up commentaries at some point. I will. I'd probably like to do some other commentaries of some other movies. I'm gonna watch Batman and Robin at some point, because I have to for my Batman review. That's right, I gotta do Batman Returns video as well. But that's next, actually. Batman Returns video is next. But because I just watched that. That's an interesting movie. But yeah, so I'll probably do a commentary of Batman and Robin. Lord help me. But yeah, so again, guys, what do you? This is the biggest question here. What do you all think of the Harry Potter franchise? I watched all the movies over again this weekend. Loved them even more. I'm going to show my kids these one day and everything, and it's going to be fantastic. Again, please like this video, and it's a very long video, but please like it, and subscribe to my channel for more interesting content like this. And check out all my other videos. My Batman review, my Batman Returns review should be coming up on the channel in the next day or so. And yeah, again, I'll say it again. I always say it twice. Like this video. Subscribe to the channel. Comment below what your favorite Harry Potter movie is, what your least favorite is. If you can give me a little explanation on a reason, please do that. And what else? Yeah, tell me what you think of this. Tell me where you think that this series ranks in all the series of book to movie adaptations. Not just movie series, but book to movie adaptations. Is Lord of the Rings #1? Is this #1? What's your favorite? What do you think of them making 8 movies instead of the 7, and just for the 7 books and everything? Again, guys, thank you for watching this video. It's a very long video, but thank you again for watching. Again, my name is Andrew, and I will see you all next time. Have a fantastic day.